college basketball will tip off next week, and that is what I've opened up phone lines to take your calls on and also put up a poll question on. College basketball starts next week. Remember how big a battle we had to fight, and those of you who listen to this radio show regularly know how hard I fought for college football to be played. All of the Coronabros out there were saying, oh my God, it's not safe. Everybody's going to die. The players will be dying. The coaches will be dying. There's no way we can play college football this fall. And then we played college football, and there have been almost zero negative stories surrounding the coronavirus. In fact, the biggest negative story so far about the coronavirus has been all this contact tracing, which has led to games either being canceled or postponed, not even because of positive tests. So, and by the way, college kids in general, almost zero hospitalizations in the entirety of colleges across the country from COVID, even though hundreds of thousands of kids have tested positive. That's because, as I've been telling you for a long time, the seasonal flu, which isn't very dangerous to college kids in general, is more dangerous than COVID is to young people in this country. And so as a result, I think it's fascinating. College basketball is coming back, and yet none of these Coronabros who said it wasn't safe to play college football, none of them are even saying a word about college basketball coming back. I put up a poll question for you. 6,000 of you have voted. I gave you two options. College football proved all these Coronabros in the media wrong because they were able to play as one option. The other one being the election's over, and now all of these Coronabros are not caring anymore because it was all politics to them. According to Twitter, 81% of you think college basketball, there's no battle over whether college basketball should play or not because the election's over now. Pretty interesting. Open phone lines, 877-996-6369. Why? And look, I'm in favor of it. I'm in favor of college basketball being played, but why was college football such a monumentally huge battle to be able to play? And there isn't any at all battle being fought in a similar way around college basketball. Go to the VIP line. You can sign up for the Outkick VIP. All you have to do is go to outkick.com/VIP. Get access immediately to this. You can comment on the articles. You can hang out with Jason Whitlock and myself as we start to roll out events and many other great attributes, including a message board, many other things. You should sign up for the Outkick VIP today. Down in Daytona Beach, who we got on the VIP, Eddie?
Ty is waiting for
Ty, what you got for me? Why is this? So you think it's interesting that there's zero battle over college basketball? It's going to happen indoors with fans present.
Oh, well, I got 2 points on this, actually. Well, when Kevin Warren shut down the Big Ten and then came out and said that he wanted to play football indoors, which was kind of crazy because that's where the virus spreads, right?
Yep.
And then right after that, you had Gretchen Whitmer come out and said that she was glad to shut down high school sports.
Yep.
That's when I just kind of transitioned and say, you know what, this is 100% political. It's crazy. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
If there's any time that you would think that the Coronabros would come out and actually have a point, you would think it would be with indoor sports, which is why we had the NBA bubble. And that takes me into my second point is if we're going to have college basketball playing and they're going to be traveling all over the country, not playing in a bubble and it's indoors with fans present, then how's that going to play into the NBA going forward with their season? And are they going to play in a bubble or are they going to travel around with no fans present?
Yeah, thanks for the call. Have they officially released the NBA schedule yet? My understanding, I don't think it's come out. I mean, I'm not sitting around like, oh my God, who's playing on December 28th in the NBA? I mean, but I don't think they've officially released the schedule yet. I think they're going to do in the NBA somewhat of a hybrid system like Major League Baseball did, where they're going to try to play games relatively close. In other words, I don't think the Lakers are going to be getting in a plane and flying to New York as often as they normally would. I think they'll probably play Sacramento more, the Jazz more, Phoenix more, right? I think they're trying to limit the amount of travel that will be taking place during the NBA season, especially, I would imagine, in the first several months of the NBA season. But I don't think they've officially released
No.
the full schedule yet, right?
They haven't. They only released an outline for the structure of it in the format, but no official schedule yet.
So he raises a really good point, which is college basketball is going to be traveling, right, all over the country in many ways to play games indoors with fans present. Multiple trips sometimes in the same week. And the Coronabros aren't saying a word. But they were so fired up about the idea that they were going to play outdoors football to the point, and I said this was stupid at the time, to the point where the Big Ten was like, well, we're going to play in January. Remember that? We're going to play in January indoors maybe instead of playing fall outdoors. And I was like, this is the stupidest idea I've ever heard. And so I am fascinated by how all these people in media, in the sports media, who are in the same business as me, that are paid for their opinions, fought so hard against college football being played outdoors and the idea that there would be fans present. And now college basketball is tipping off next week. People are going to be traveling all over the country for games. They're going to be watching games indoors, which is where the virus spreads. And the Coronabros aren't saying a word. Why is that? It's amazing. We got a lot of people who want to weigh in. 877-996-6369. Who's up next, Dub?
Yeah, we got Josh in Missouri.
Josh, what do you think about this?
Clay, thanks for taking my call, man. Personally, I believe that it can't be anything other than three things: political, money, and we've got a problem with honesty.
Yeah.
I believe that initially everybody was correct to be a little bit, apprehensive of this and kind of stay indoors and figure out how we can keep things moving while still being safe. But like you've, pointed out, once we realized that this wasn't as bad as what they thought or what they said it was going to be, things needed to go back to normal just a little bit. Now, Clay, when have you known anybody in the media to go so far on one side and then it turn out to be wrong and then come back and say, oh, we were wrong, it's not as bad? I mean, it's an honesty problem, and it's a political thing for sure. Yeah.
Thanks for the call. That's what I try to be with you guys, is honest. When I get something wrong, I come on and I admit that I got something wrong, particularly anytime facts are related. And it is amazing to me, like if I were Dennis Dodd at CBS Sports and I had written a piece that said, what did you say the number was, Danny G? 3 to 7 college football players are going to die if they play the season. That's the piece that he wrote. Now, he can say, well, I didn't say that. I was quoting some other expert. Okay, when you choose to use an expert and use him as the focal point of an entire column you're writing about how it's not safe to play college football, that's on you. I'm sorry. There are tons of experts out there who would not have said that someone was going to die because they were playing college football, right? That is one of the dumbest and most dishonest columns I have ever seen in the history of sports reporting, okay? Because first of all, if people are going to die, they're not going to die because of college football, right? Kids could die living at home because they're not playing college football and because they're not on a college campus. But is someone like Dennis Dodd going to come out and say, I apologize for that column I wrote where I said people were literally going to die, 3 to 7 of them, if we played a college football season? No. Is CBS Sports going to come out and say, hey, we apologize to all the readers out there for this insanely stupid column that was thoroughly dishonest that we ran on our website? Are they going to come out and are they going to apologize? No. And look, I know Dennis Dodd. I think he's a nice guy. I don't think he's an awful human being, but it was a fundamentally flawed and stupid opinion that he wrote using somebody to try and argue that college football shouldn't happen. Well, now college basketball is happening. And it's infinitely more dangerous, all the data would reflect, to be indoors. It's infinitely more dangerous to be traveling as much as college basketball players are. Yet, no one is saying a word. Why is that? This is why this show explodes and why our audience has become so massive. Because I ask questions and point out logical fallacies like this, and many of you out there are like, wait, yeah, man, a lot of these people in the media, they're pretty dishonest. They're saying things that they're claiming are like right down the middle of the road, and the truth is, it's agenda driven. Not playing college football was thoroughly unsupportable by any analysis of the actual facts. And I'm so glad we won that battle and college football is being played. And frankly, I'm not sure if college football gets played in the Big Ten or the Pac-12 or the MAC or the Mountain West if this show doesn't exist. I really 100% believe that to be true based on all the behind-the-scenes work that went into making those guys end up playing. I really think the sports media, the Coronabros, were going to win this battle if somebody like me didn't stand up to them. Who's next? Danny G, what you got?
VIP caller here, Kim in Indiana.
Kim in Indianapolis, what's up?
Good morning, Clay. Thanks for taking my call. I wanted to tell you, I think it's actually politically driven, but it's political hypocrisy. As you are stating, or just stated, they are very dishonest, and frankly, I think too embarrassed to admit their own mistakes.
Yeah.
And what I admire about you and your staff is that you actually live what you say. And I honestly believe that's why your ratings have increased, because you are honest and you are not a hypocrite. And I appreciate all of you. And I just hope you have a great day.
Thanks for
taking my call.
Look, I'm far from perfect. My wife, the alarm's about to go off in our house to take our oldest son to school. If we said, hey, let's put Laura Travis, Clay's wife, on, she could give you a laundry list of things that drive her insane about me. And you may have a laundry list of things right now listening to the show that drive you insane about me, too. I understand that. But the one thing you can't accuse me of is dishonesty or hypocrisy. I come on and say the 100% truth every single day. And I tell you the way that I'm living my life. And it's the exact, like if you followed me around all day, you'd be like, oh, Clay Travis sounds the exact same at noon as he does at 6 a.m. And he sounds the exact same at 6 p.m. as he does at 7 a.m. Like, I'm not pretending to be anything other than exactly what I am. And there are a lot of people out there who are wearing masks. They're pretending to be one thing while in reality they're another. And I think this college basketball season starting, where all these media members, like, they're getting exposed. They made all these arguments about why it was unsafe to play college football. And I haven't seen, maybe I've missed it. You can tweet me if I'm missing it. I haven't seen one column written about how it's unsafe to play college basketball when, according to all the metrics, it is. And look, I'm in favor of playing. I want to make that clear. But according to all the metrics, college basketball is infinitely more dangerous. Indoors with fans present, traveling all over the country multiple times a week. This is infinitely more dangerous than college football. Who's up next?
Back to the VIP line, Adam in Washington State.
Adam in Washington State, what you got for me? Thanks for being a VIP.
Hey, you bet, Clay. I think that what has happened with the Coronabros out there is they realize that America's fighting back. We are tired of lockdown. We're tired of not having our sports. And they realize that they've lost.
Yeah.
And thanks in big part to you guys and Outkick for sticking up for all of them.
Thanks for the call. It may just be that they've lost and they're embarrassed over getting beaten like this. Because I said, if you go back, at some point we're going to do a documentary on college football, the rise from the dead, like Lazarus, the Big Ten back from the dead. It'd be even crazier if Ohio State ends up, God forbid, or Indiana, or one of those teams wins and goes into the college football playoff out of nowhere. But it's wild because if you think about the where they were, I think it was like 100-1 probably that college football was going to be able to play when at Outkick we started fighting the battle for college football to play. I really do. I think it was absolutely, thoroughly unlikely. And we won that battle. And I think maybe some of the Coronabros are still shook over the fact that we won that battle. And they're afraid to even say what they think now. Maybe that's a part of it. Who's up next? We got a couple more people want to weigh in before I got to go to break and get ready for Jeff Shorts.
Yeah, two more here. Jim in New York.
Jim, what do you think?
Yeah, couple comments about political. Yeah, I think the situation wouldn't be so bad if the president would have been honest about the airborne passing of all this, and passing it off and not being serious. We got over 250,000 Americans dead. 250,000 Americans dead.
All right, what's your point?
You seem like you're just pushing this.
I wish. Look, here's pause for a second. All right, 8,500 people die every day in this country. All right, I understand that people like you don't know that, but let's put into context what goes on in America every year. 2.8 million people die every year in the United States of America. There are 330 million some odd of us in this country. I wish we were immortal. I wish no one died. 2.8 million people a year die, all right? And around 8,500-ish per day, all right? So this obsession with COVID as if it's the only thing that kills people is media fear porn that has in many ways driven people insane, right? The average age of death from COVID is older than the average age of death from all causes in this country. These are facts that should be well known that aren't. Again, just to repeat it, you are more likely to die of every cause in America today at a younger age than you are from COVID. Over half of all deaths from COVID are in nursing homes, which is where people typically go, unfortunately, and end up dying. Now, I wish no one died. I wish it had never happened. But what has become clear, I think, to many people out there, is that the lockdown, the shutdown in general, is a debilitating, destructive, and ultimately horribly flawed decision that we have made. And by the way, it's one that people are making again in New York, idiot politicians, in Chicago, in LA, all these different places that are trying to lock down again. They don't work. And all they do is cost people their jobs, their livelihoods, and kids are going to be out of school for years at a time. They're never going to make back up everything that they've lost. So what was this dude's name?
Jim.
What's your point?
You cut me off here. Well, yeah, here's my point.
Yeah, so what's your actual point?
Well, my point is, you claiming credit for football playing, that's totally obscene. And the other thing
obscene? Obscene? It's obscene?
Wait, can I talk?
You aren't making any point. What is your point?
Okay, here's my point. I made points. You know what? You drank the Kool-Aid right along with Fox. Do you have to take an oath to conspiracy theories and all this to work for Fox? Is that
I don't work for Fox. I don't work for Fox.
Well, you're on the Fox network that I'm listening to.
Yeah, this is Fox Sports Radio, which isn't in any. I'm not employed by Fox Sports. I'm employed by iHeart.
Oh, yeah, but obviously you have to follow their policies, though.
You think that somebody calls, you listen to this show, and you think that somebody says, Clay Travis, you have to say X, Y, and Z every day on your radio show. You legitimately think,
when I
listening to this program.
It doesn't sound like that.
Okay, you know what I think? You are an imbecile. Continue to talk. You still haven't made a point.
Yeah, well, there you go. A typical Fox person calling somebody name. Now, my point is, here we go. You just claimed all this stuff that's not true. There's one, it's just ridiculous how you can...
What did I say that's not true?
The three cities that you mentioned happen to be all Democratic cities. Why is that? Why didn't you know? Why aren't you talking about how Utah and these other cities, these red state cities, have all doing the lockdowns too? They're all doing the mandatory mask and all that. Why did you just throw out Democratic cities?
I said New York, LA, and Chicago because they just literally are massive cities. Almost every city is run by Democrats.
All bull crap. Goodbye. You're a jerk.
What? He didn't even make a point. One of the challenges that people have to deal with is they are not, like, I understand a little bit. what it would be like. This is like trying to score a basket on Michael Jordan. But if you call in, have a point. Like, you can criticize me for anything under the sun. It doesn't impact me, right? Like, I'm like impervious to criticism. You don't end up in this job if you have like a thin skin, right? But you think that somebody tells me what I can say on the radio?
Goodbye, you're a jerk.
Yeah, they just keep that on. Like, you think somebody says to me, hey, you have to go. Have you ever listened to this radio program?
Let me tell everybody right now, Clay does not even listen to his executive producer most of the time. He's not told by anybody what to say. I think that's pretty obvious. And we are owned by Premier Networks, which is iHeartRadio, our parent company. So Fox News has nothing to do with our network.
The level of stupidity. Like, it's one thing to believe in conspiracies, but if your conspiracy theory is Clay Travis is being told what to say by who? Like some shadowy person at Fox News that I don't even know? Like, that I get, like, I'm the Manchurian sports talk radio candidate and there's like people talking in my ear all the time? Danny G, do you even know what I'm going to say 30 seconds before the show starts?
No, we have a rough outline that is our guests for the morning, and we have some main topics based on what the main sports news is of that day. But no, I have no idea from segment to segment what you're exactly going to say. It's not a teleprompter. None of this is written. So that's such a stupid comment to make.
It's just really funny to me. And honestly, the reason why this show has exploded in a good way is because there is no filter on me. When I signed, I've been doing this show, like 5 years? We're in the 5th year, I think.
Yep.
When I signed up, I said, I'll do it, but I don't want to be micromanaged. I want total creative control over what I say on the radio every day. And to their credit, our bosses, who are fantastic, Scott Shapiro and Don Martin, said that's what we want. So there has literally never been, in 5 years, I don't remember ever being told anything about any topic. About like, hey, you have to say this. Like, the whole idea of it is utterly insane. And frankly, it would fail massively. I mean, one reason why we're kicking ESPN Radio's ass is because I do think they micromanage what those dudes can talk about on their shows. I really do. I think they say, oh, you have to talk about this, you have to talk about that, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that. I definitely think they do that at ESPN Radio. I know they do because I've talked to a lot of the guys that work over there. It doesn't happen here. But if you want state-sponsored radio, you can go listen to ESPN. If you want the truth, you can listen to me. This is Outkick.
Goodbye, you're a jerk.